Hello, Internet. Welcome again to another rant from your average American who is sick to death of the way the world has gone. Well, today's update, it is July 7th, 2016. FBI Director Comey went in front of Congress to testify about his handling of the Hillary court case, and was grilled quite mercilessly by Congress, essentially admitting, yes, she did break multiple laws, but we're still not going to charge her. So, government official put into a position of trust to handle top secret information clearly and under all sensible understanding of the word criminal negligence, broke the law, but no, we're not going to prosecute her. But switching across into YouTube drama, two YouTubers who were put into a position of trust by their fans because they decided they liked to watch them, ended up setting up a convoluted and crazy gambling scheme that involves lots of underage kids gambling things and may go to jail for it. So, yeah, should they have gone to jail? Well, let me explain some of the background first. Two YouTube gamers, there's another YouTuber who did an expose on this subject matter. Let me pull up my notes again. Yep. Who were setting up this online gambling thing. There's a video game out there called Counter-Strike CSGO. Big game, played it a couple times, loved it. It's a first-person shooter. You play either the terrorist or the counter-terrorist forces, and your job is to either blow something up or to stop things from getting blown up. It's the YouTubers Syndicate and T. Martin decided to exploit this system in the video game where you can get weapons, skins, and alternate costumes, I guess. Which, I've never liked digital content exclusives that you can get for playing this game. But the game itself is fine. I'd buy it in a heartbeat. But all this digital content of, oh, I got this super cool limited edition piece of code that applies a graphic to a gun of mine. Not that big a deal personally, but for some people it is a big deal. And Valve, who is the creator and publisher of Counter-Strike, set up a store where that you could get these randomly rare pieces of code that apply a graphic to a pixel on the screen, and that you could trade it with your friends. Apparently, some of these, because they introduced rarity, anytime you introduce rarity to something, an economy pops up around it. You don't have to understand it, just have to go with it. Some of these people will spend vast amounts of hard-earned real cash for, again, a piece of digital content that you don't really own. You just have a license to use while CSGO is out there. And they set up, these two YouTubers set up a website where you could gamble away your skins and hopefully win even better skins that you could then sell for thousands of dollars type thing. They set it up, not disclosing that they own the website, that they have admin access to it, passed it off as, oh, look at this great thing we discovered, actively promoted it, tried to get people involved in the gambling process of these skins that go with these guns, and unfortunately, because they didn't maintain meet proper regulatory standards, they didn't close off their customer base, so only those of age. I think some states still allow age 18 to gamble. Others, you have to be 21, legal drinking age, in order to gamble. I'm not sure what the FTC's regulations are for online gambling. At the very minimum, you still have to be 18. I'm not sure if you still have the requirement of 21 for online gambling in this case. So they've broken a federal law. They've also got several other charges levied against them for improper business practices, not disclosing that they are paid advertisers and owners of the product that they are promoting, of which I can tell you right here, I am not paid to promote my opinion on YouTube, so my legal disclaimer is there, so do with it what you will. But the internet found out that they were scamming their fan base for profit, and the internet revolted, handed them their heads on a platter, and decided, hey, we're going to hold them accountable for lying to us. Why is this important? That the community held someone accountable for lying to them? Because we don't apply the same standard to a lot of our politicians, particularly, again, on the left. I have never met a Republican that has had felony charges that he's been convicted of him and has been able to run and win in the Republican Party for anything. On the left, I repeatedly see these guys getting charged and oftentimes convicted, and they're still running and still getting elected. Hillary Clinton is a prime example. She's committed multiple crimes, and her fan base is still dedicated to getting her elected as President of the United States. I know some YouTubers will go, these people are stupid. They're stupid, ignorant a-holes that have no clue about how the world works. And really, that's an unfair statement. It really oversimplifies the problem. These people are not stupid. What they are zealots. Okay? A stupid person will eventually succumb to logic if you present it long and hard enough, and they'll come around and see, oh, this should be done this way. These people are completely incapable of receiving logic, being able to handle it in a logical manner, and being able to make logical decisions, because their religion of the left prevents them from being able to come to terms with what's in front of them. The reality in front of them does not matter. Only what the propaganda of the religion of the left tells them to believe. They will believe it wholeheartedly, and no matter how much evidence that you present to them, that any sane person would come to a logical conclusion off of, these people will never recognize sanity. They are completely devoid of any ability to hold logical thinking anymore, and will never deviate from their zealotry to the left. I take that back. Except in the cases of real extreme pain being put against these people. Now, I'm not talking about physical pain. I'm talking about economic, mental, physical pain that is so unbearable that they have no choice but to realize it lied to them. The human body is amazing in the ways it can deceive itself. But if enough pain is applied long and hard enough, eventually they have to come and see reality. Like you see right now, the rise of the right, they call it. It's not a rise of the right, it's a deprogramming of people, because finally they've had enough pain applied in their lives. They've lost their jobs. They've had to worry finally, how are they going to feed themselves? How are they going to feed their families? That much worry, self-doubt, having to finally engage logical parts of their brain to figure out a problem, how to feed themselves, is waking them up from this trance so that they can finally see that they were lied to by the left. That the left their religion is garbage. It needs to be cast aside for the insanity that it is, and they need to join the right. That the world is going to pot in a handbasket. So, again, we have the two examples out there. Hillary Clinton, at least as far as the law is concerned, they're not going to touch her. But please, let the court of public opinion this November say, we will not elect her as president. At the very least, it'll be interesting. I think a lot of people will finally wake up, because even these zealots are the not quite zealots that are on the left, when finally they're forced to see Trump when she finally is forced to debate him on TV, where she is forced to stand side by side with Trump as he exposes her husband's crimes, her crimes, all the crimes committed by the Democrats, all the crimes committed by the left, their insanity, their stupidity, how it has screwed everybody over. It will never convince the zealots, but there will be enough on the left who will finally feel enough pain and realize that the pain that they felt in their life, Trump is explaining why they're feeling that pain, how to take control of their lives again, how to take this country back and return it to the system that it was meant to be, so that we no longer have to feel that pain. It'll take a couple years for Trump to fix everything. It won't happen overnight. Sadly, as they learned during Brexit, that, we got out the EU, everything's hunky-dory. Well, everything's going to continue as normal, because everybody in the Brexit party decided to drop out now. Trump, when he becomes president, they'll be stuck with him for 4 years. He'll have a chance to turn this country around. And it'll be up to us to support him when he is president. Because the left, and actually not even just the left, but these rhinos, or anybody at the top who's really right in name only, will try to stop him because they're so heavily invested in this garbage, so heavily invested in keeping the status quo, because that's where they make their fortune, that's where they get their power. We need to hold them accountable. Tell them, hey, you can't do this garbage anymore. If you're going to charge us with crimes charge us for crimes that some people are guilty of, and we should charge them for. Again, in the case of the CSGO incident, charged for illegal gambling activities and for activities against the trust of their YouTubers. Hey, we should hold the politicians to the same legal standard. Also, going into legal standards, today there was a big issue of password sharing is now illegal. From the same Congress who, again, lets Hillary off on a crime, now says sharing your password with somebody could be a felony charge. Now, in a sane world, would they probably charge you for sharing a password with your brother to watch Netflix? No. In this legal case, it was because of a guy who happened to have prior access to a server. He left the company, still had access to the server, which, why did he still have access to it? One reason, it's the company's job, as soon as you leave, to revoke the guy's privileges. I, at one point, worked for a company. It wasn't like you could just quit them. It's not like drop the mic, get out the door. It was a month-long process to disassociate yourself with the company. You had to untangle yourself legally with this entity. You had to hand over your passwords. Well, not hand over, but they had to log in what your admin ID was. You had to give them what password you were using. They had to disable all that, make sure that there was no way you could ever gain remote access to their system again. So personally, it's the fault of the company for allowing this guy to still have access to it after he left them. But now the long-term legal ramifications is now the government can say sharing a password for any reason is illegal. Yeah, would a sane person be charged with this? Probably not. At least not until you say something like, again, going after the Hillarys, saying, hey, why aren't you being held account for your crimes against the United States? Why are you getting off on these charges that the FBI levied against you? Hey, now they can decide to throw you in jail for 2 years because you shared a password to your Netflix account, because your buddy and you decided to watch Crunchyroll. Hey, he went out to get a burrito quickly so you could eat it, gave you his password so that you could log in, so the both of you could watch it when he came back. That could be a felony charge now, which could be levied against anyone who wants to speak out against the government. Just saying. In a couple years, let's pray to God it doesn't happen, but it could happen. And sadly, in one case that I will say negative about Trump, he is technologically illiterate, as most from his generation are, not intentionally, really, but just because they haven't been forced to live with computers the same way we have. They don't understand the day-to-day intricacies of the digital world, and thusly still have certain preconceptions that don't quite work with the reality of the situation, just because they don't know better. And in this case, he could use it inappropriately as president. Hopefully he won't. Hopefully he'll have some tech advisors who will say, listen to the Constitution. The Constitution says free speech. You're not allowed to do XYZ things. But we'll come and see. As always, if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, share this video with everyone that you know. Spread the word out that we are growing dissatisfied with the status quo, that we want people to be held accountable. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.